Today from the global lane, Aegean and Mediterranean showdown. NATO allies on the brink of war fighting one another.
If there's military action, it's going to be limited military action, and then there's going to be a negotiation.
Assault on America. Rioters arrested.
We are witnessing a coup attempt.
Opioid addictions and deaths up during the COVID pandemic. And culture of death to liberty and life rising in the USA. And life defended for the baby of a pregnant 10-year-old in Brazil. And it's all right here on the global lane. Ancient foes squaring off militarily in the eastern Mediterranean. Are Turkey and Greece inching closer to war? Both are members of NATO, American allies. Well, joining us to provide some insights on this volatile situation is Hudson Institute Senior Fellow Michael Doran. Mr. Doran served at the National Security Council, the State Department, and Pentagon under President George W. Bush. Michael, it's good to have you with us. So I guess tensions are high. Both countries are flexing their military muscle in the Eastern Med. So please explain, what's this dispute all about?
Well, first of all, hi. Thanks for having me. There are two different interpretations about economic rights in the Aegean, and the Greeks lay claim to almost all of the Aegean on the basis of the islands that they have in the Aegeans. The Turks say that basically the sea should be split between the two based on the continental shelf. They say that Greece's economic zone should proceed out from its continental shelf, not from all of the islands. The Greeks have the UN law of the sea on their side. The Turks have some other international agreements and interpretations of international law on their side. What I think the U.S. interest is here is to find a negotiated settlement between them.
So who actually has the rightful claim, in your opinion, internationally recognized claim, I guess, to the territory where the oil and gas deposits are located?
Well, I'm in the minority these days in Washington, in that I think that the Turks have a very strong claim and are being treated in an unwise fashion by the international community. I think we've allowed a lot of attitudes about Erdogan to color our interpretation of a lot of things that are going on. With regard to Turkey that actually have nothing to do with Erdogan. I think every Turk regards it as just sort of commonsensical that Turkey, which has the longest coastline in the Mediterranean, should have a significant economic zone.
Well, we're seeing some new alliances, an agreement between Turkey and Libya, another between Egypt and Greece. What role are Libya and Egypt playing in all this attempt to dominate the Eastern Med?
Well, that's what the Turks have intervened in Libya, and one of their major reasons for intervening there, I think, was in order to assert their position with regard to their rights in the Aegean and the Mediterranean. Because by the Greek interpretation, if they own all of the Aegean or all of the economic rights of the Aegean, and then the Greeks cut a deal with the Egyptians on the other side of the Mediterranean, they can sort of divide it up between themselves. So what the Turks have done is they've gone over to Libya, right next door to Egypt, and they've created an alternative line, an agreement with the Libyan government to divide up the Mediterranean differently. So basically, it's just a lot of people are asserting claims, and it's going to have to be sorted out through negotiation.
Well, both Turkey and Greece are NATO allies. Now, that would be kind of messy for NATO members if one of those countries attacked the other militarily, because an attack on one NATO member is considered an attack on all. I don't think NATO ever expected that one of its member states would fight a war against another NATO member. How would NATO handle that, Michael? Might the EU pressure an alliance with Greece over Turkey?
Well, this is one of the roles of the U.S. We've faced this before with regard to Greece and Turkey. In the Balkans and in the Middle East, the U.S. often finds itself in a position where its allies don't get along with each other. That's one of our major roles to play, is to come in and to be the mediator, the negotiator, and kind of the shock absorber between them.
The Germans have been very active diplomatically to bring cooler heads here. So If the Germans are doing it, does the United States have a role then?
I think the Germans have been playing a good role, and I think the U.S. should be in there backing up the Germans, or maybe even getting the Germans to back up us. What we have, which the Germans don't have, is we have military power. We have a certain weight in international affairs that the Germans don't have because they don't really have a military.
You think this is going to result in military conflict?
You know, if you'd asked me this question a couple of weeks ago, I would have said no way. I thought that this was just going to head toward I thought we were going to have a little bit of rhetorical escalation, and then there was going to be some kind of diplomatic process that would sort it out. Now I see that the escalation has moved to the next stage. But look, if there's military action, it's going to be limited military action, and then there's going to be a negotiation. I'm sure that the American negotiators are going to be in there saying, hey, guys, why don't we just skip the military stage and just have the negotiation?
Well, that sounds like a good plan. Okay, Michael Dorn. Thank you, Michael, for your time and insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug of war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
What starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Friday night at 9:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden finally spoke out this week about the violence that is rocking American cities.
Rioting is not protesting. Looting is not protesting. Setting fires is not protesting. None of this is protesting. It's lawlessness, plain and simple.
And as expected, President Trump continues to push Biden and the Democrats on the issue. Appearing on the Laura Ingraham show this week, the president speculated about the people backing violent protesters.
But the money is coming from somewhere.
Money is coming
how can it be
from
tracked?
some very stupid rich people that have no idea that if their thing ever succeeded, which it won't, they will be thrown to the wolves like you've never seen before.
Joining us with more on this growing threat to American society is culture and religion analyst Alex McFarland. Mr. McFarland has written a new book, The Assault on America: How to Defend Our Nation Before It's Too Late. Alex, it's good to talk to you again. So the president blames rich liberals for funding the rioters. Why do you think we're seeing all of this violence in our cities right now? It's gone way beyond Black Lives Matter protests.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's always an honor to be on CBN. I appreciate you so much and count it a great privilege to spend a few moments with you. I think part of the reasons that we've been seeing the riots and part of the reason that the rioters and the anarchists have had really a velvet glove free ride by much of the secular media is because there are those that want America to fall. And they know that to introduce new order, they first have to create disorder. And that's what this is about. And we are witnessing really an act of war. I mean, we are witnessing a coup attempt in the United States of America. That's why people need to stay informed by listening to CBN. They need to pray, and they need to vote and be an influence, because the future of our country quite literally hangs in the balance.
Alex, we're seeing attacks like this one. I guess people on Instagram said it happened in Baltimore, but it's hard to watch. A young Satanist hitting an innocent pedestrian in the head with a brick for no apparent reason. It wasn't a robbery. It wasn't a mugging. People see that and they say, what is happening in our society? You can't even walk down a street without getting hit in the head with a brick.
Well, yeah. And as attendees from the Republican National Convention were leaving, they were accosted, they were attacked. Rand Paul is very well publicized. He is saying, and many others finally are coming around to saying, look, this is an assault on our nation. Our freedoms hang in the balance. Not 24 hours ago in Los Angeles, at the LAPD, in front of one of the doors of Los Angeles Police Department, they burned a flag on the sidewalk, and they spray painted things that I can't even repeat. But one of the acronyms, ACAB, all cops are bastards. Forgive me for using that word, but you've got to understand, these people are the operatives for Marxists that want American cities to fall, and they want ultimately our Constitution to be deposed and done away with.
We used to have civil discourse and debate. We'd listen to one another, and then we'd compromise to come up with workable solutions to our problems. It seems like there's no longer a willingness to compromise, Alex. It's my way or the highway. How did we get to this point?
Well, you know, fundamentally, our battles are not social, economic, or political. Our battles are spiritual. We are very much in a spiritual battle. I mean, clearly, our nation was founded as a Judeo-Christian republic. That's been so well documented. But I want to say this. As a pastor and a counselor, when I've had to do family interventions and someone is caught in unrepentant sin, we can do the wise thing and humble ourselves before God. But very often people that are doing wrong, and they know they're doing wrong, they will dig in their heels and be all the more recalcitrant and just fight. And the people that for the last 45 years have been about no-fault divorce and the breakup of families and unrestricted abortion and life is not sacred and the redefinition of marriage, the people that have worked hard to abolish our awareness of a Judeo-Christian moral code, they are really enraged. I know I've spoken at universities and been very scholarly, and yet I've had students and professors give me the middle finger. That doesn't bother me. It's just acknowledgement of the human nature that when we're fighting the Spirit of God, God calling us to repent, we can either stand on the rock or stumble over it. And that's why the acrimony, that's why the vitriol, because there are people in our country, and I love them, and I pray for them, but they know they need to relinquish their life to the Lord.
And in your book, you talk about defending our nation and culture before it's too late. A lot of people are getting fed up. Some are even taking up arms to protect themselves and their property because police have been defunded. So quickly, what do we do short of armed militias?
Part of what makes this so tenuous and why this is the most consequential election in our lifetime is because so many millennials, even Christian millennials, have never lived in a time when America was affirmed and valued. And so we've got this wave of humanity coming along that's been coached and groomed by secular education and Hollywood to hate America. And so I really honestly believe this is the most important election, the most important season of our nation's history since the American Revolution. And we need to turn to God and ask him to have mercy on this country and draw us back to himself.
That's what we need a lot of right now. Alex McFarland, you always give us plenty to think about. Your new book is The Assault on America, How to Defend Our Nation Before It's Too Late. Thank you, Alex, for your time and insights.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy?
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain, get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Ongoing lockdowns are taking a toll beyond COVID-19 viral infections. The American Medical Association is raising concerns about an increase in opioid-related deaths. Last year, drug overdoses were up by 5%, and now during the pandemic, they've skyrocketed, up over 18%. Many people are alone, isolated from others, unemployed, or depressed. So what can we do about it? Our next guest knows drug addiction all too well. Jimmy Lilly is here to set us straight by sharing his story about how he overcame it. Mr. Lilly is a 1972 graduate of Adult and Teen Challenge. Jimmy, many people say drug addiction is a disease, but I think you probably believe it's a disease of the heart. What did you discover from your own addiction?
Well, one of the things that I discovered from my addiction was that I could not control it. There was nothing I could do to overcome it. And what I want to consider is that what can you do to overcome drug addiction? I was 9 years old when I heard anything about opium, any form of drugs, and I vowed at 9 years old I would never ever take any type of drugs. But 2 or 3 years later, my brother, a couple years older than me, he was acting strange. I said, "Man, something's wrong with Bobby." And I said, "What is it?" So I asked him, and he told me he was in his own world. And he had started smoking marijuana. And so I felt that, he said, "I'm not dead." So I felt that, wait a minute, there's nothing wrong with him, then maybe it's okay with me. But not knowing that 3 or 4 months later, after smoking marijuana, that I would spiral down into opium addiction and LSD and meth. And it took my life, took me into such a place that I just could not recover from it. And what happened with me, I was on my way home to commit suicide because of this addiction, when something spoke to me in my mind, my spirit, and just said, "Listen, I can help you." And I didn't know that there was a God. I didn't serve God. I knew anything about God. But I knew that something was speaking to me and said, "I can help you." And so if you listen to him, or you listen to a spiritual voice, I don't mean to sound like a mystical thing, but you can help. You can be helped. And I went through Teen Challenge maybe a month after that experience, and it helped me to process what really happened to me.
Jimmy, how is Teen Challenge different from other drug programs? Explain to us, please.
The service is a very big part of it. It's like giving back. I see when I went through the program, I think the main reason that the program worked is the spiritual component to it, or the gospel concept. is that they and the discipline that you learn how to control your emotion, how to control the cravings, and how to apply service to other people.
Now, I know that a lot of people have a desire to get clean, but they just can't afford the cost to enter a program. Now, you served with Wilkerson's ministry until retiring last year, and they've established a new scholarship program in your name. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, first of all, let me give thanks to World Challenge. I'm so grateful for them. They understand my ministry and they absorb me in their love and in their care to do this. And they know how much I love Teen Challenge and how much I love to see people have their life turn around. So when they offered to honor me with Jimmy Lilly's scholarship, I said, boy, this is a practical way I can still be in touch with people that need this program. You know, unfortunately, you know, it costs a lot of money now to go through. When I went through it, it only cost me like $25, and they wouldn't give that back to me at the end of my service. And so this scholarship should help many people to come out of a drug addiction and find a way without having the financial pressure on them. They can give themselves completely to the program, allow that program to work deep into their soul and their mind and hearts. So I'm so thankful for the scholarship. I just hope that it will help so many people to have such to try to come out of this horrible life of drug addiction.
And Jimmy, how do they find out more about the scholarship program?
You can easily find it on Google, you know, National Teen Challenge, and they will lead you to what you need to do at that particular time.
Okay, Jimmy Lilly, thanks for sharing your story and the good news about the folks at Adult and Teen Challenge. God bless you.
God bless you. You have a good one.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government. Ready to become a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer? To start your rewarding career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Phillipsburg Falls, man. Come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
A cult of death and destruction is rising from the far reaches of the world to right here in the USA. Those weren't anti-American protesters in the streets of Tehran, Iran, but in Oakland, California, on the evening of August 26th. Death to America, death to police, death to the unborn. Folks, it's time to take a stand for our nation, democracy, and life. In Brazil, some Christians recently defended life by crowding outside an abortion clinic. They hoped to prevent a 10-year-old from aborting her baby. The girl reportedly had been raped by an uncle continuously since the age of 6. Authorities arrested that uncle, and although Brazilian law prohibits most abortions, they are allowed in cases of rape. Demonstrators supporting the abortion insisted it was too risky for the 10-year-old to give birth. She'd likely die, they said. Also, they said she should not be forced to deliver the baby of her rapist and raise a child when she herself is still a child. Folks, this is a horrible tragedy. This child was traumatized repeatedly by a pedophile and then traumatized again when she was forced to undergo an abortion. My heart goes out to her, but my heart also goes out to her baby. That child didn't deserve to be murdered simply because it was the product of incestual rape. You see, when we start making exceptions, then it's easy to make more. Soon abortion is allowed and promoted with Down syndrome babies. In China, it's done based on a child's sex or ethnicity. It's a slippery slope. You see, if you don't protect the unborn and value the sanctity of life, then all lives are no longer relevant. Life is cheapened. It's an attitude of no lives matter, and it permeates all of society today. Children are treated like property, enslaved and or sexually abused. Dozens of missing children were recently rescued from human trafficking in Ohio, Michigan, Georgia, and Florida. Thank God for that. But you see the progression here? Disregard for human life metastasizes like cancer. It begins with children in the womb, then spreads to children outside the womb, and eventually evolves into disregard for the lives of the elderly. How many of them needlessly perished from COVID-19 in New York and New Jersey nursing homes and elsewhere? They were old. They would have died anyway, right? Wrong. Debasing human life led to the recent assault of an innocent pedestrian, pummeled in the head with a brick in Baltimore. In Union Springs, Alabama, a black man shot and killed another black man because he was taking too long to cross the street. Yes, the life of Janarian Travis Allen mattered to his family, friends, and especially to God. From the cradle to the grave, all lives are precious. We are created by God for His purposes. In Psalm 139, verses 13 through 16, most likely written by King David, he says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Yes, our days are numbered. Our purpose is ordained by God. Who knows, perhaps that 10-year-old's aborted child in Brazil was purposed by God to become a doctor saving lives, a teacher educating Brazil's children, or even a president leading the nation. We will never know. Folks, let's not forget the 5th commandment, thou shalt not kill. That includes children in and out of the womb, pedestrians walking on a sidewalk or slowly crossing the street, anyone. Celebrating life, honoring God, and treating all lives as sacred is the key to creating a more virtuous and just America. Well, that's it today from the Global Lane. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Parler, and Twitter. And until next time, be blessed.